He lost the first set, and that turned out to be the last set Alexander Zverev would win. Jannik Sinner weathered the early charge, then took the next 3 to defend his Wimbledon throne, back-to-back. But the most striking thing about this final was not the tennis, it was the words the winner and the loser exchanged afterwards. One of them apologized for winning too often, the other found hope inside a defeat. So let's go through this final the way it deserves, through the reactions. First, the shape of the match, because Zverev was formidable from the very start. In a tight opening set, he edged the tiebreak 9 points to 7, and suddenly, a first Wimbledon title for Zverev did not feel like a fantasy. But Sinner did not waver. He took the second set tiebreak 7 points to 2 to level the match, and from that moment on, it was all his. Third set, 6-3. Fourth set, 6-4. 3 hours and 46 minutes, and Sinner finished the match with an ace. But there is a moment in the third set that everyone is still talking about. At 3-all, chasing a Sinner drop shot, Zverev slipped on the grass and hyperextended his right knee. He screamed. He stayed down. And then Sinner crossed the net and helped his opponent back to his feet. Zverev afterwards said he had overextended the knee again, in a way similar to 2 years ago. His serve speed dropped. He couldn't push off it. He was broken shortly after. Did it decide the final? That is genuinely debatable. He still moved well from the baseline, but it became, immediately, one of the questions of the day. Once the title was sealed, Sinner's reaction carried the joy of victory and the weight hidden behind it. And the first thing he said points at something most people have already forgotten. This one means a lot because it was a tough one after Paris again. 5 weeks earlier, at Roland Garros, Sinner had led Juan Manuel Cerundolo, the world number 56, by 2 sets to love and 5 games to 1. And he lost, cramping, breaking down physically. He was knocked out in the second round, one of the biggest upsets in the history of the tournament. 5 weeks after that humiliation, he was standing on center court holding the trophy again. We put in a lot of work days in Monaco, very, very long, definitely sacrificing a lot of my time and everything to be in this position. And then came the part of his speech that shone brightest, his respect for the man he had just beaten. Big respect to Sasha, because he's doing something amazing. His game is growing and growing. In the same time, that's exactly what's good, because you have always someone who is pushing you to the limit. Winning that dominantly, and still treating the opponent as the rival who makes him better, that is Sinner's signature class. But then his interview went somewhere nobody expected, beyond his own title, to the state of men's tennis itself. And this passage instantly became the biggest talking point of the day. Because standing there as champion, Sinner asked for his rivals to come back, starting with Carlos Alcaraz, who missed this entire tournament with a wrist injury. We hope that Carlos is coming back as well, because tennis needs him. Having Novak still around, having all the young players coming, it's really, really nice. Remember who he is talking about. Alcaraz has not played since April, with tenosynovitis in his right wrist, and Djokovic is the man Sinner had just dismantled in the semi-final. So this is a champion, at the peak of his dominance, publicly wishing back the only 2 men who can threaten him. The other protagonist of the day was the man who fell just short, and Zverev opened with a joke that told you everything. First of all, Jannik, I don't really like you anymore. I've lost to him 9 times in a row. 9 in a row, walking in, 10 in a row, walking out. That is what Sinner has done to him. And still, Zverev gave the winner his full due. He showed once again why he's the best player in the world. He's still the best player in the world, I do believe that. I believe there are probably 3 guys who can challenge him. All of us have to be working for that goal. But the most striking thing in Zverev's words was not the praise, it was his attitude towards the defeat itself. Because remember where he came from. Before this fortnight, in 10 appearances at Wimbledon, Zverev had never once been past the 4th round. We came into Wimbledon never reaching the quarter-finals, and we played our first Wimbledon final. I'm 29 years old, and this is the first time I actually believe I can win this trophy. And he thanked the crowd for something he had never had here before. Every time I played, the court was full. I never felt support like that at Wimbledon. A man who had always struggled on grass, reaching the final, and turning it into belief. So what does this title actually leave behind? One thing above all, the Sinner era is now cemented. He is the 10th man in the Open era to successfully defend a Wimbledon men's singles title. He is 24 years old, with 5 career majors, and he is now the 5th man in the Open era to defend titles at 2 different majors before turning 25. The other 4 on that list are Bjorn Borg, Jim Courier, Roger Federer, and Carlos Alcaraz. And the numbers from the final tell you how complete it was. Zverev actually served more aces, 17-15. But the errors decided it. Sinner, 58 winners, 25 unforced errors. Zverev, 49 winners, and 45 unforced. There is one more thing worth saying about Zverev, though. This final completed his set. He has now reached the final of all 4 majors. Only the 13th man in the Open era to do it. So let's wrap it up. The 2026 Wimbledon men's final was the stage on which Sinner defended his throne and confirmed his era. A champion who did not crack after losing the first set, a Zverev who found hope inside a defeat, and a winner who crossed the net to pick his rival up off the grass. And with that, Wimbledon 2026 is over. On the women's side, the first crown for 21-year-old Linda Noskova. On the men's, Sinner's back-to-back. So how long do you think this era lasts? And what happens the moment Alcaraz comes back? Tell us in the comments, and if you want more tennis like this, subscribe and turn on notifications.